Why female supremacy? Why women are superior? Since I am a male, there are probably some people who are confused about why I believe in matriarchy and female supremacy. Please let it be known that I am not a masochist, a sissy, a crossdresser, or anyone else who has a fetish that is similar to that. Simply put, I am a heterosexual male who was able to gain insight into the truth by overcoming the inherent male egoism and bias that I possessed. As soon as I was able to step back and look at things objectively, I was able to recognize the numerous facts that demonstrate the superiority of the female gender. I was born with this innate cockiness and egoism that is unsustainable, as is the case with every male. Throughout my childhood, I behaved in the same manner as the majority of boys. In elementary school, my classmates and I had the misconception that we were superior to girls and actively competed against them. We were relentless in our efforts to demean them, but they maintained their poise in the face of our hostility and were able to dominate us, even though they routinely bested us in all games that required mental acuity and were by far the more intelligent students. We continued to brag that we were superior because we were able to compete successfully against them in sports. As I've gotten older, I've begun to wonder why they were better in everything else, and I've come to the conclusion that we were wrong to believe that we were superior. My early teenage years were the defining moment in retrospect. When I was in high school, we had a female history teacher who admitted that she was once a member of the female supremacist movement. She was constantly harping on the capabilities of women and the ways in which they have superior qualities to men in virtually every aspect. She was always reasonable when she explained why women are superior and why matriarchy will return after this break from patriarchy. She believed that women have a natural advantage over men. When they had to listen to her, the male students in the class were consistently irritated. You could see it in their faces, but they were never able to argue with her in front of others. This professor was a huge motivation for me, as she encouraged me to make use of my logic and showed me why the girls were in a better position than we were. Not too many years later, I came to the realization that there is no question whatsoever regarding the superiority of women. I also came to the conclusion that all of these terrible wars and genocides that humanity has been subjected to were caused by patriarchy and the aggressive nature of males. As a result, I started to imagine how things might be different if women were in charge. I am a dedicated member of the female supremacist movement despite the fact that I am almost 40 years old. I have a profound love and respect for women, and I advocate for female-dominated relationships and the global establishment of matriarchy because I believe that these things would make the world a significantly better place. In order to avoid giving the impression that I have an opinion that is not supported by evidence, I will do my best to summarize the reasons why I believe that women are superior to men by providing evidence. All of the evidence that will be presented here comes from a variety of scientific sources. Woman, 2 full sentences. Chromosomes, mental acuity in addition to advanced intellectual skills. Capability of performing in an efficient manner. Concurrent performance of a number of tasks. Longer lifespan. Strong immune system. Conscientious of oneself and humble. Calm and protected by security. Unbounded potential for spiritual power. Man, 1 finished product in 1 chromosome with a genetic defect. A more sluggish brain and restricted intellectual skills. Inability to focus on more than one thing at a time. One activity after another. A shorter expected lifespan. Weak immune system. Self-centered and boastful of one's abilities. Aggressive and prone to violence. Negligible spiritual power. Women are superior to men for a variety of reasons, including the following: biological superiority. Excellent physical form. The male body is inferior to that of a woman in anatomical terms. It has many parts that play important roles in reproduction, such as the vulva, vagina, uterus, ovaries, fallopian tubes, womb, and breasts, whereas the body of a man only has the testicles, which produce sperm, and the penis, which is used to transfer it into a woman. In addition to this, a woman's body is much more pleasing to the eye. Every society throughout the course of history has found something to admire about the feminine form, specifically the female body. Even in today's patriarchal society, it is widely acknowledged that the body of an average woman can look impressive with relatively little effort, whereas the body of an average man can only look impressive after years of rigorous training and exercise. Even when we consider people who are overweight, the body of an overweight woman possesses a shape that is artistically universal. In contrast to the body of an overweight man, the preeminence of chromosomes. When it comes to health, having 2 copies of the X chromosome is extremely beneficial. As is evident in the case of X-linked diseases, chromosomal abnormalities and deficiencies are more prevalent in males than they are in females. Better immune system. Women generate antibodies at a higher and more rapid rate than men do. And they also have a greater number of white blood cells. Because of these factors, they are susceptible to a lower number of infectious diseases and pass away after a shorter period of time. This can even be demonstrated by day-to-day life. While a woman who has the flu will typically continue working as if nothing has happened, a man who has the flu may spend several days in bed. A longer expected span of life. In every nation, the average life expectancy of a woman is greater than that of a man. The average life expectancy for females is 73.5 years, while the average life expectancy for males is 68.5 years. The breastfeeding and pregnancy stages. Women are the only gender capable of carrying life within their bodies and providing newborns with the essential nutrients they require to develop after they are brought into the world. The word mammal, which comes from the Latin word mamma, means teat. Humans are classified as mammals. Women are the ones who possess this quality, a more rapid maturation of the body. The female body develops more quickly than the male body because adolescence begins for girls between the ages of 9-10 while it begins for boys between the ages of 12-13. The sexual life. It is common knowledge that, in contrast to men, women can have more than one sexual orientation. The majority of men have only one erogenous zone, whereas women have at least 10 throughout their bodies. The potential for the occurrence of parthenogenesis. Parthenogenesis is a type of asexual reproduction that only occurs in females. In this type of reproduction, embryos grow and develop without the participation of a male in the fertilization process. Even though it has only been observed in other mammals up until this point, it is theoretically possible that it could happen with humans as well. On the other hand, it is impossible for men to reproduce without women in any way. Improved capacities for self-sufficiency and endurance. Due to the fact that women have a higher percentage of body fat and a lower overall body mass than men do, women are able to live off of a smaller amount of natural resources than men and can go longer without food or water. A greater ability to withstand pain. It has been demonstrated beyond a reasonable doubt that women have a higher pain tolerance than men, most likely as an evolutionary adaptation resulting from the ordeal of childbirth. A blood pressure that is too low. Women tend to have healthier hearts and lower risks of developing cardiovascular disease thanks to their naturally lower blood pressure. Deficient levels of testosterone. The levels of testosterone found in women are very low. Because of this, men tend to be more aggressive and violent. In addition, it causes them to become addicted to the pleasures of sexual activity and diverts their attention away from thinking or productive activities. Testosterone is the root cause of a variety of health issues, including thinning hair and perspiration with an offensive odor. Hair loss. Women, in contrast to men, are not as prone to experiencing hair loss. There is no additional information that can shed light on this matter. Vision and the ability to perceive colors. Since the complexity of a person's brain is related to their ability to perceive color, women have an advantage in this area. The average man can recognize approximately 10 different colors, whereas the average woman can recognize more than 30. It is also estimated that 8.6% of men are colorblind, whereas only 0.4% of women have this condition. Mental superiority. Superior brain. Although women's brains are typically smaller than those of men, they are often more effective. The results of various scientific studies have demonstrated that women excel in areas such as logical reasoning, numerical ability, and the ability to track shifting circumstances. The findings of the study led the researchers to the conclusion that women's brains are able to complete complex tasks with less energy and fewer neurons than men's brains. Intelligence quotient. In 2012, it was reported that women are outperforming men in terms of their IQ test scores. Marilyn Vos Savant holds the record for having the highest IQ in the world according to Guinness. Emotional quotient. The gap between women and men is even bigger when it comes to EQ. It has been demonstrated through research that women are superior to men in areas such as self-awareness, the ability to control their emotions, empathy, and social skill, the qualities of prudence and caution. As a result of the fact that women are much more prudent and careful than men, they are involved in a significantly lower number of accidents of any kind. Better conversation skills. Women have superior skills in conversation and are less likely to be distracted by external factors, such as the appearance of the person with whom they are conversing. As a result of this, as well as their high EQ, people consider them to be relationship experts. A disposition toward study and improved intellectual capacities. In every developed nation, Women now make up a larger percentage of the student body at universities and hold more advanced degrees than their male counterparts do. This trend began a long time ago. Detail orientation. The ability of female brains to organize and classify information is superior to that of male brains. As a consequence of this, one is able to perform impressive acts of intelligence and remember information such as precise numbers and dates. Intuition. Multitasking. Male brains, on the other hand, are not designed to process multiple streams of information at the same time. This is why a woman's brain is more efficient when she is juggling multiple tasks at once than a man's, which is why a man's brain can only effectively juggle 2 tasks at a time. Protection against mental health problems, alcoholism, antisocial personality disorder and psychopathy, as well as developmental psychiatric disorders such as autism spectrum disorders and Tourette syndrome, are less likely to be found in female patients than in male patients.